Hi there, nice to see you. This is Progressive Overload, and I'm Big Ben 85, and this is Arthur 2 Sheds 15. And that's his signature intro, which I thought you were just going to do on your own streams, but it's good to keep me guessing.
You like it?
So remind me who that is again. Well, not me, but
Tyler won.
and he is a streamer that everybody should check out for his extreme weirdness.
And screaming.
We can top him, hopefully, while we play some Gears 4 Horde mode. We don't really need to talk about this game much.
Casual.
Played it. Shh, they don't need to know. We don't really need to talk about the game much on this occasion.
Guys,
They've had us, seen us playing it before, so we'll get probably straight into the main topic before we have some random shit near the end as well. I was thinking that this time we could talk about bodybuilding, or anatomy construction, as it's also known.
Is it? It's the first time I've heard that.
I don't think so. I just like to make it sound posher than it is. Clarify, like a lot of people mistake the term bodybuilding for just like, oh, you lift weights or you eat well or whatever, but that's not really what we're talking about. Talking about the
Anybody
the
can be
competition.
classed as one. Anybody can be classed as one if they're training for a purpose, like they're building obviously muscles for a purpose. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about
No, I think
just the competitions.
Yeah, the term gets overused. I think when like somebody knows somebody who's quite big and that, and they go, "Oh, he's into his bodybuilding." It's like they've never competed or anything. They're just apparently they're into it. A bit of a misconception.
Just like the form of training or something.
The that sport sort of gives unrealistic expectations.
I think that comes down to whether if the outsider sees them and thinks, "Oh, I want to look like that." It's down to whether they know exactly how much time and effort that they put into obtaining the physique that they have. So it's not just like the training, it's getting enough rest, eating efficiently every day, and health, eating clean meals.
There's some, obviously there's some programs and things for sale, or like usually through the internet, saying like, oh, you just do this for 30 days and you're going to transform your body. And it's like, well, you're not going to transform it to the level that, you know, the model, the pictures in the models in those pictures are going to look like. You're not going to achieve that in 30 days. I mean, they might not necessarily be bodybuilders, but they're going to be considerably more pumped up and tanned, and probably more than 30 days work's gone into it. On the two pictures or whatever.
It probably won't happen to you within a few years as well.
No, definitely not to bodybuilders standards. It's a lot of, particularly with gaining the size in the first place. It's going to take you a number of years. You can't just.
Yeah. Especially if you're not used to eating the amount of foods that you need to consume on that efficient size.
Yeah, especially with it if it's good foods, it's much harder to get the calories in. And people don't realise that you will, even no matter how much you like food. If you're going for whole
Yeah.
foods, this, that, and the other, you're gonna get sick of eating certain ones. That amount of it.
Chicken and rice again. My favourite.
Hooray!
Good time in the day.
And you're obviously not going to be like a pro bodybuilder straight away, so you're going to have to do it around your work hours and around your other commitments.
Mhm.
So whether or
think
not
that
it's
is, like-
achieved with outsider things, which obviously anybody has probably realised that I mean steroids by this point, but whether or not it's achieved with that, it's a big commitment. It's a lot of work. What else was I going to say? Another thing off the back of that, the achieved, like whether the unrealistic expectations, whether it can be achieved naturally and stuff, like whether or not it's pushing people towards like bigorexia, where inadequacies, where people have got a pretty decent physique, but then like just because it's not what they perceive as perfect, then they're really unhappy with their bodies, even though they might have like a body that's 4 or 5 times better than an average physique or whatever.
Yeah. I was at the British like fitness expo, Body Power last week.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask you about that first thing and then forgot.
Yeah, there was the thing about going there is you do see a lot of people who are either have competed or in like competition kind of level physique, or just people who are just generally like won't be training natural, and it does make you think like somebody like me who's been training for years, who has like put on a fair bit of muscle and has like a decent physique, and then you see something like that, and then you still think, fucking hell.
Yeah,
like,
it's such an extreme.
I've put in all that time and effort, and it's still nowhere near to like the likes of what you see there.
Yeah, what you can achieve genetic potentially wise is going to be pretty good, but it's never going to be what you could achieve by going beyond that. You can only achieve so much with your genetic potential.
Yeah. So
No
it could be a
matter
little like it can. Oh fucking hell! It can knock you down a little bit if you're not like in a very positive mindset.
Yeah, because you
But
could
at the
be
same
at
time, it's also,
your
like, motivating.
best, but still, there's people. You're always going to have somebody, even if they people didn't abuse steroids. There's always going to be somebody who's got a better physique than you. There's always, or not just physiques, just in any aspect of life.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's also like motivating. It gives you some like an appearance to aim for, something that can like help you work harder as well.
Yeah, I think it does show what's achievable, so that's good in a sense. But it also, you can maybe certain people might be aiming for a physique that's just not possible for them, because you're obviously you can't change where your muscles insert, and you know, a lot of people want a certain shape or want to look like, I don't know, Thor from the Marvel movies or something. It's like, but you won't look exactly like them because you muscle insertions are not gonna especially if you were like quite a short or stocky person. You're not gonna, you might even end up being bigger than him, but not your stats. You can't change your stature.
But I think physiques like that, they are in the like the movie industry, they are more obtainable than say bodybuilding, because there aren't that many like really big actors, like because in like muscly developed, like The Rock, you had Arnold. Obviously, they're like have well developed.
Yeah,
physiques,
first and foremost, they
outside of
were
that,
bodybuilders and wrestlers, and then they became actors, rather than, you know, an actor that had a bodybuilder physique.
yeah. So, there are those physiques are more attainable. Obviously, not exactly the same, because everybody's different, so they're always going to look different. But
I think like
something
300.
very similar.
In that 300, they clearly like painted abs on and stuff.
Yeah.
That's cheating a little bit. Too.
Yeah,
But then it's people are probably thinking like, oh, why don't I, look like that when I'm eating this, that, and the other? It's like, well, you're not gonna. It's just not possible.
Apparently, that's what they did to Nick Cage as well in Ghost Rider, because he still trained really hard but couldn't get abs. So they computer animated them on.
Yeah. So it's definitely that's probably a worse case than bodybuilding then for stuff like that, as for getting ripped and stuff, because it's not even possible with every trick in the book. It's like like dehydrating yourself and stuff like that. They've actually gone and put something over that, so it's just yet another reason why the Ghost Rider movie can be considered terrible. Although I've not actually seen it myself, I just heard that it's awful.
It's alright.
Oh, it's just anything with him in gets gets slated.
It's not gonna be perfect with him.
But bigorexia would probably still be a thing, even if bodybuilding wasn't a thing. But I suppose there's no denying that it would help it along a little bit. There's gonna be people like that anyway who just are never gonna be satisfied with themselves.
Well, that comes down to the fact that, especially nowadays, that men are more conscious about their appearance now than like I think they ever have been.
Yeah.
So that's like a factor that might contribute to it as well.
Well, maybe. I mean, as much as it's not about bodybuilding, the metrosexual like movement of fad maybe contributed to that a bit, because you had to start caring more about you're supposed to start caring more about your appearance and sort of more feminine. Brain farted on the second point.
I kind of brain farted as I was asking the question, or when I was just saying what I was saying.
But you make I think probably the best point by bringing up supplements, because they're obviously what prop that industry up. The supplement industry props the bodybuilding industry up, because that's obviously the only real way that, other than if they do go into acting or whatever, the bodybuilders make money. And it is a bit wrong that if they're not being honest about everything that they're having to get to that level, to just say, oh, it's only these two or three supplements from this one brand, is a bit wrong. I think that's my biggest issue with the whole sport. Really, is it's a bit difficult to take their advice on things unless they're totally open about every aspect. Like obviously, if they had a YouTube channel and they were saying do this program or this diet and this, that, and the other, if they're honest and say, well, this program's for somebody, a heavy gear user, and this program's for a natural or whatever, then that's better, because you're not going to be able to get results on doing a program that's designed for somebody who can barely overtrain by having a shitload of testosterone in him or whatever.
Yeah. I think there's gotten to the point now where everybody knows that that's a factor anyway, and a lot of people assume that they've got how their physique looks just by the fact of adding like drugs as well, which obviously isn't the case, but
yeah, I think most people of a certain age know, but if you were an adolescent and you bought a not a bodybuilding magazine, say a fitness magazine or Muscle and Fitness or something, you might not exactly know. I think some people are more naive than you'd think. Not most people, but there's a lot of shit supplements that are just proprietary blends with pretty much nothing in. They just say like they've got this ingredient, but it's negligible, and people must still buy them because they carry on. So the supplement industry is it's just totally fucking the fitness industry, really. But at the same time, that's where it gets its money from. But they're purposely creating myths like, oh, you need protein 2 milliseconds after your workout, even if you've had it before. Like they're saying, if you don't get it in you, then you might as well not bother training or whatever. And you have to go catabolic. Yeah, and they'll like say, oh, you have to get this special shot glass where you take it in your eye after the session, just so they can sell you that. They can't say, oh, just eat a chicken breast or whatever, because that wouldn't make them any money. But in terms of the bodybuilders themselves, it's their body. So if they want to do that, it's their choice. I think that's fair enough. But then, like I said, I'd like them to be open and honest about how they've achieved that. Yeah. It's not necessarily if they weren't in the public eye. If it was somebody just doing it just for the physique and they weren't in the public eye, then they don't have to be honest about it, really. But if people are looking up to him, no, I think that's a good point. There's a lot of stigma around steroids, but really, and it's just like he's gonna kill you. It's abuse of it, isn't it? If you people just automatically assume that using steroids means you're abusing them, or I think the main thing that came up about it is because obviously it was cheating in other sports as well, so it's considered really bad just in general. They made it they made it like the devil because they didn't want people taking them in sports and cheating.
There's people out there who are trying to get bodybuilding into the Olympia. Not the Olympia, the Olympics.
Yeah.
But I think unless they do start to focus on doing it naturally, then it's not going to be the case, really, is it?
No, I wouldn't have thought so. The UFC, I think, was trying to do a lot of things to try and get it in the Olympics. They were doing similar. They brought in more stringent steroid tests and things like that. So, and a lot of people's physiques suddenly changed quite considerably then as well. It's like all of a sudden they're not quite the beast that they were. Oh, they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't get fat, but they definitely didn't have as dense muscle, and they definitely weren't as like as ferocious and aggressive.
Yeah.
They probably weren't able to train as hard to for as long and stuff. Otherwise, they'd have overtrained.
Yeah.
But it's a shame for those who do achieve it naturally, because everyone then automatically assumes if it's done well that that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had that a couple of times. I had that recently.
Yeah, it's just
from
as
some
soon as
moron at the gym.
as soon as you've achieved some
Put on a
results
bit
or
of muscle.
whatever.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that can be jealousy that does that. I think I've been a bit like that myself before, where it's like, oh, it must be that because it was so quick, or because I'm doing everything that I can and it's not doing it. But you don't. I think you sometimes delude yourself as to that you're doing everything that you can. It's not quite as you're not quite as disciplined as you quite think sometimes if you really sit down and document everything.
Yeah. Hey, I eat clean every day. Eat well. Alright, now let's have my second dinner of the day.
I'm going to Papa John's. Don't.
A new hot
make me
dog
go
pizza. I'm in.
Only one left.
You.
And a lot of
Some
because
people just like
of
to,
that, they probably also think that you could just like take steroids and sit playing this.
Yeah.
Steroids is synonymous with getting huge and ripped.
Yeah.
But there's still work that
There have
goes
been-
into it.
Well, yeah, a lot of hard work. I think that's just like a minor part of it, like supplements. Most of it is obviously the hard work and the dieting. I think the rest is just like if you want to get to the point where you're at a pro level competitor, it's when you only really need them. But
Yeah,
obviously people
they've
don't get
become
that
more
as-
of a common thing, because it's like, well, what's considered big now compared to like before steroids were a thing? What would be considered big would obviously be a lot smaller than it is now.
Yeah. Well, it'll be like before the 70s, like around 60s. That would be like, let me, when I think of somebody well known who will have that kind of shape. It'd probably be like Thor.
Yeah,
Like that would
that's
be like
about
a
as-
mass monster.
yeah. I think people probably
Now
get-
that's just like a well-built,
Yeah.
attainable physique. But then it's also like when you go to expos or city competitions, you just want to see people on stage who are just like everybody else who just puts in a bit of work there. 'Cause that's what people like argue now. They say that well, you don't want to go to a competition and see just like an average-looking built person. You just want to see like
yeah, people want to
something out of
see
this world.
people want to see extremes. That's why they like obviously even with like sprinters and stuff like that, they don't just want to see people naturally going as fast as they can. They just want to see people
Yeah,
going freakishly. fast.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
they don't care about, they don't really sympathise with whether the person might be killing themselves to get there or not. They want to see it, if it's possible. But then obviously the bar gets moved, and like we were saying before about dehydrating yourself, it gets to the point where they have to go over and beyond with that, and that gets really fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Even just like fitness models for photo shoots and stuff, they do all of that, don't they? They deprive themselves of carbs for so many weeks and dehydrate themselves before, and then they even like so I heard some of them like have a shot of, is it whiskey or something like that, and I might collapse any minute, but I got a good photo. They got like, you can tell with some of them. They've got like half an eye closed, but their physique looks amazing. But then you can see it in the face that they just feel horrible.
Yeah, that's more for like the competitions, and then the photo shoots to come after. Like
yeah.
But yeah, they do all sorts of weird stuff like that.
That's got to be one of the
bikini competitors
for the hardest aspects of. It's not just training in the gym and eating well. It's like one of them Japanese endurance games just to go on stage.
And the bikini models for women, and they're like fucking tiny, and then they still like further restrict like water and stuff like that when they go on stage. So
they're probably already
stick thin.
Probably already
at
low levels of
I don't understand that.
That's another thing I think with bodybuilding, especially like with the female side of it. It's sort of, it can put women off doing weights and things like that because they think, oh, I don't want to get that huge.
They just want to train my ass.
You're not gonna, just because you pick up a dumbbell that's more than 10 kg or whatever off the rack doesn't mean you're gonna get as huge as them overnight. Which is a shame, I think, because I think obviously whether you're male or female, you should be lifting if you're physically able to.
Make the most of it. I still hear that though with the gym, like, I'm gonna get bulky.
Well,
you don't get bulky unless you start taking testosterone as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And eating like you're taking testosterone.
But people are always saying, I want to get toned. It's like, I don't want to get into this whole.
You don't even know what tone means anymore.
Yeah.
Little do they know what tone means actually lifting weights.
Yeah. But it takes forever to try to change somebody's mind about that it's actually the size of the muscle, and then you get rid of the fat, but they just think, I don't want to get bigger muscles. It's like, you do if you want some tone. But getting off the point a bit there, could probably moan about that for a whole episode. I think I can't remember if there was anything else I wanted to say, but the one thing that I was going to mention was as well Eddie Hall, that I think he started, judging from YouTube, he started like trying to lose fat, and he's looking like he's going down the bodybuilder route now. I mean, like, originally he wanted to be.
His stomach's way too big for a bodybuilder. It's not, like, he won't win any competitions with that frame. Like, his stomach just flies his chest.
Do you know if he said that he's doing it to try and compete, or is he doing it to?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just like
to get YouTube views and
just lose a bit of weight.
Yeah. But
He
it's
looks
like,
healthier than he used to be.
do you think
Well,
it's...
that's not much of a difference, really.
He was saying that obviously he wanted to be the strongest man in the world and he's achieved that. But do you think it's a bit like vanity now then, because he's going for something that's more like aesthetically pleasing, and obviously he's going to probably lose some strength doing that. If anything, in my opinion, sorry, I interrupted you there, but in my opinion, I think if anything, it'd probably be a bit healthier for him, because obviously if he was going to try and lift 500 kilos, deadlift again and stuff, and he was like getting a brain bleed and stuff off that, it might steer him in a better direction, even if he's doing dehydrating himself and stuff like that. It's still probably better than getting a brain bleed.
Yeah. Giving himself an aneurysm. I don't really care what he does, to be honest. I'm not that much of a fan of him.
No.
Do whatever he wants.
One of my favourite things about Eddie Hall, I watched a documentary, I think it was on Netflix, and he was like saying about how he had to eat porridge every morning as if it was a big hardship. And then it showed him going around doing his shopping, and I'm pretty sure he was like driving, eating a bacon butty at one point with white bread, and then it shows him doing his shopping, and it's got all like pizzas and crap in it, because he obviously has a high calorie diet. But it's like, oh no, you have to eat porridge in the morning so you can have the energy to.
You have to eat this really healthy breakfast. It's fucking horrible. I hate every second of it.
And then if you see what bodybuilders have to go through for their prep,
like every meal.
I don't think he has the right to moan about porridge in the morning.
No.
One thing I do, although I think he did neglect seeing his family a little bit, it is commendable that he managed to do all that training alongside. I think he was full-time lorry driver, wasn't he, or something at the same time?
Oh, was he?
Before he like started getting sponsorships and stuff. It was a good few years, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely one of the factors of success, of whether or not you can, obviously, if you can support your family doing a part-time job or whatever, and then get in the gym and eat healthier and stuff, might give you a bit more of an advantage than if you were if you had to work 50, 60 hours a week and then try and fit in good nutrition and stuff.
Yeah.
But then there's cases that where people do it.
Yeah, well that's what, like, they know it's hard, but I think that's what drives them forward as well. If it was easy, then it wouldn't be worth doing.
Nothing worth obtaining's easy. Well, I've had a mate who said something like, it wasn't about bodybuilders, it was about UFC fighters or something, but it's like, they get all these supplements free and stuff like that, and they get paid.
Yeah, but that doesn't
they
make
get paid to fight, but they didn't. It didn't start out like that anyway.
No. Yeah.
It doesn't. You don't just go, I'm going to be a UFC fighter.
Okay,
and then,
right.
Yeah.
So here's your supplement sponsorship.
Yeah.
You just sponsor anybody.
But I think he was like,
and then the supplement company's like, where's our money going?
Yeah, just to every randomer possible, just in case they make it. But I think he was like sort of suggesting that, like, if he had it all handed to him, that he'd be able to, get amazing physique. And,
sounds like jealousy as well.
But I really don't think so. I think the more people think that, the less chance they would have of achieving that.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand.
How much hard work they have to put in as well. I don't want that barrier thing with the bodybuilders is their recovery time is going to be a lot quicker, so they might be able to get in like another like a second or third chest workout during a week compared to somebody who's natural is still like the muscles will still be fatigued from like the prior workout.
Yeah, their protein synthesis is higher as well, isn't it? So they can. It can be a bit longer till they do that muscle group again, because they're still synthesizing, so they can have like today's chest day rather than 2 or 3 muscle groups or full body or whatever. They don't have to have the frequency as much. But as you say, they'll probably still train it multiple times in a week because that's their main aim, their main goal. Yeah. But if you only have so many days to play with, it's not a good idea to train like a bodybuilder if you're not a bodybuilder.
Yeah, well, it depends on like the routine you do as well. Like you can do upper body, lower body splits. Get that in like 4 working days within a week, and that'd be alright.
Yeah, I find upper, lower, or pull legs is a lot better for me than trying to do these ones that are in the magazines where it's like 6 days a week and 1 body part or maybe 2 at most.
Yeah, there's still like depending on the exercise you do, there's still like bodybuilding style splits. It just depends on your like the rep ranges and exercises you do.
Well, that is one aspect that's definitely positive from bodybuilding. Is obviously there's been a lot of bodybuilders now over the years, and they've managed to find out what works for them, and there's lots of different methods and things. It's not going to work for everyone, but
so you might not be a fan of the competition and stuff, but a lot of people enjoy like the whether you like the competition or not. A lot of people like.
It's not my thing to like watch them on stage and things like that, but I don't wish that it'd go away or anything like that. I just wish that it would, that more of them would be a bit more open and honest.
Yeah.
Especially seen, like, if they give advice on in real life bodybuilders. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, like posing. Because it's a lot different, like compared to seeing it like on pictures or a video.
I've seen people who in gyms and that who intend to compete. They're going in the studio or whatever and posing, but not seeing anybody who's like stupidly huge who's competing.
It's quite something when you see it in person, especially like when they do it well.
Quite close,
like, the way they flow between, the way they flow between like poses and stuff as well. It's really cool.
It is something I probably should do. Is like especially with talk about it a lot and being trained PTs and stuff. I'd worry as well from what we've said though that I would then look to try and achieve that and then not particularly that, but I mean raise my standards to too high a level where I wouldn't be happy no matter what.
I'm running to get you now. Had to be on either end of the fucking map, didn't you?
I do think the standard of what we consider big now has gotten too big. It's like, oh, you're 15, 16 stone, So you're like, oh, you're average now. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Seriously?
That's all thanks to like mass monster style
Yeah.
bodybuilders like Dorian Yates. He started that shit.
You have to be cracking
That's
the
why it's too big now.
pavement as you walk to be considered big.
Yeah. I didn't like that kind of bodybuilding. It's just ugly.
Especially when it's like the big growth hormone guts and things. You think, well, how is that acceptable when it's supposed to be aesthetically pleasing?
Yeah.
I don't see it just because they're huge. I think that should be where you say, well, they can't win it because I suppose they can suck the gut in, but once you've seen it, you've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I don't want to go without mentioning, I think it's my biggest example of, it's not a bodybuilder, but The Rock.
Yeah.
I flip between considering him like sort of a role model and then sort of the complete opposite, where it's like he really gives physiques and things a bad name that I don't think he's ever admitted to taking steroids. Maybe because he feels like, so. Yeah. Maybe it's so.
It's like he's given.
Because he wants children to look up to him, and also he wants certain movie roles and that might not be available to him if he was seen in a negative light, because steroids are seen as, oh, this horrible bad thing because it's cheating in sports or whatever, so they purposely, the media's put mega stigma around it, but it feels like really dishonest to not be it and to not admit that and have like a physique that's clearly beyond what he would be able to achieve naturally. I can't. Yeah. So many people are just like, well, he's Samoan. They're big, aren't they? He's got the genes. It's like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but they don't look like bodybuilders. They might be big in general, but they're not that big.
Yeah. And if it's genetics, then surely he would have been roughly that big when he was first in wrestling, yeah. Because he was a football player before that, so he'd have been hitting the weights pretty damn hard.
Yeah.
So I think it's just ridiculous to think, if anybody thinks that that's achieved naturally.
No.
So that's one of my pet hates with the whole physique and not being honest about how you've achieved it. Because he's in a lot of I remember back when I was stupid enough to read the magazines and stuff as my main method of learning. He was in a lot of the magazines saying, oh, I take these BCAs after a workout and this, that and the other, and it's like, is that it? Is that all you're gonna say?
Well, I think the reason they do avoid it is because it is such a bad light behind it. Obviously, there are people out there who still talk about it, even though it is like negative. Like Larry Wheels. Fuck. He's like, he did a video about it, being honest about it, and it got like millions of views. Well, that's probably because people now, they want to take it like as soon as they can to help them like grow when they don't need it. So I think it has like positives and negatives behind it. And a lot of the time it is The Rock. So.
That was actually one last actor to mention that must have involved steroids. I have no evidence to back it up, but it just has to be, is Christian Bale went from doing The Machinist, where he was like anorexically thin, to Batman. Yeah. It's like that must have involved
put on like he steroids. Went from like how much did he weigh in The Machinist?
We're talking like 90 pounds to 90 kilos.
Fucking hell. So he gained like 100 pounds.
Yeah, it has to have involved
like 45 kilos. Obviously, some of that's going to be like just like getting back to a healthy
finally
weight.
Having food, because he was like apparently he was having like an apple and coffee or whatever. That was like pretty much it.
We were talking about like how the way he used to, the method he used to like lose weight for like roles is just like he'd just smoke a lot and drink whiskey.
Yeah. I think we were saying like definitely he's used steroids to get to that level that quickly. I think that must have been abuse as well. That couldn't have been like a regular amount of whatever doctors would possibly like say was safe or whatever. But
probably because he knew it was like just for a limited time anyway.
Yeah, exactly, and he must have wanted to be Batman that bad. It's like, I can be this iconic character that everyone probably one of his biggest roles ever, and it's like, well, you can't be as thin as you are in The Machinist to play him. It's just not going to happen. So.
I'm Batman.
On a stretcher.
Struggling to even stand.
Bring me the bat stretcher.
Oh shit, he's passed out again.
To summarise...
Get the bat defib.
Summarise, most of the bad stuff isn't necessarily bodybuilding, although it is linked. I think it's more the supplements and the magazines and stuff that they sort of cast a mist across the real aspects of what it takes to get there. They're just saying, oh, you just need to buy this and do this program, because if you buy this from us, then you're going to see results. But obviously
people just need to be more aware with things like that, and that is just not. It's not obviously the supplements and just the training. It's more than that. But hopefully, most people by now don't go to just magazines and stuff for like workouts.
Yeah, if you really need to either go to a professional or have a book that doesn't have any advertisements in, because obviously the people who run the ads are going to have a hand in, or even if it's like a paid YouTube service or whatever, it might be okay, as long as it's not run by a certain supplement company or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're always going to favour pushing that before they give you the advice that works or whatever. So it's not necessarily, we're not being negative towards bodybuilding, it's more towards the things around it, the extremes of the money making side of it.
Yeah.
Plus, if you say that it's all about steroids and it's you can just sit on your ass doing it, it's just jealousy.
I could do that with steroids. I don't work out or eat right or anything. Still do it though. You judgmental bastards.
So, enough about that. A more pressing question I've had on my mind is if you had a time machine and you could go back to World War II and could somehow infiltrate Hitler's bunker, would you shoot a load in his face? Possibly changing the course of history.
Would I kind of get off from shooting a load in his face? Is like that some kind of like sick fantasy?
I don't know. You can take. You can
I'll
even
bust
the
nuts
phrase.
in front of anybody, let alone Hitler.
Oh, when I said shoot a load, no, I wasn't being
Yeah, I know. I know
sexual.
what you meant. I was just making a joke out of it.
Well, I was just seeing whether you would take it as a sexual thing or not. I mean, Hitler.
And I did.
Hitler and his, superior Aryan blood and all of that. Who wouldn't?
I know. Sexy. I probably would though. Well, yeah. Because you couldn't change what had already happened within, like, my timeline. So I guess I would go back and do that.
But would you be able to do
Shotgun blast him in the face. Huh?
it? Would you be able to do it?
What, would I be able to shoot him?
Well, to be honest, it was the sexual thing. It was just because it's such a common question to say, would you go back and, kill a Hitler as a baby or whatever.
I would.
I thought
I
I'd
wouldn't kill a baby, even if it was Hitler. I'd wait
It's just
until
too emotionally ingrained in you not to harm something like that.
Yeah. Like, if Michael Myers in the Halloween movies doesn't kill a baby, then you could not kill baby Hitler.
He only doesn't do that because the audience would be like outraged. Don't want to.
Yeah, I've got a question. I'll just do the. This might be a quick one because you might have heard it before, so I'll just I'll mention this one first, just in case it's I've heard this. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
I think it's a tough one. That I think it's 100 duck-sized horses, but I was gonna say because I wouldn't want to fight something that looks like a duck because it's but little horses would be quite cute things to trample.
Yeah.
I suppose if there was 100 horses though of full size and they were like stampeding, they'd trample me in an instant, so I shouldn't feel too bad about trampling them if they were fighting me.
You're a fucking huge duck.
Yeah, I think
the giant duck, you could just like feed it a load of bread and it would just get angel wing. We'd die from that.
I think the 100 tiny horses would be the easier ones to beat, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you would.
It's the best.
That's the reason why, but I think it's still that. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to see a duck crying for its life either. I've seen somebody run over a duck, and it wasn't pleasant.
My dad's run over a cat.
I got out to go and to check on it, and it was bleeding like out its eyes and mouth and everything. It was horrible.
Fucking hell, that's sad.
There's nothing I could do, so I just left it. But it's one of them things where you go, I go out and check on it. You're like, why did I even bother? It's clearly a goner.
Let me check. It's just a mangled corpse.
But the horrible horrible thing about it, other than obviously the sight of it, was like I'm pretty sure the driver could have avoided it, but he just didn't bother whatsoever. Just drove off.
Full speed ahead.
But so I don't think I'd want to see a giant version of that duck bleeding out its eyes and mouth, gargling with its last quack.
Is that really what he was doing?
I think it might have been gargling slightly, yeah.
Oh, that's
horrible, isn't it? But imagine that.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to see a giant version of that. I don't want to see like the normal size duck of that.
No.
This is horrible.
No, it's stupid to think that I could have done anything
harm you where you're
about
going now. Well, tiny horses.
Are you?
Go for that then.
Would you go for that as well? I'm pretty sure that.
I'd probably go for that.
Out of those two,
it would just be mainly because it'd be easy to defeat. Just like stomp them and just swing your leg around and then just go flying.
Yeah, what's the worst they could do to you?
Couple of kicks to the legs.
Yeah, if they could, it would be irritating if they were kicking you and biting you, but I don't think it'd finish you off.
No. It would just be like, ow, you little bastard.
Do you think Hitler would finish you off?
If I could keep it up.
with his little tash and shit hairdo, I don't think he'd be doing it for us.
No. It's not what I'm fond of.
I suppose my next one is related to, it segues a little bit. My next one is if you had to live with a cock and balls just above your lower back, or do completely without genitals, which would you go for?
Above my lower back, so like just above my ass.
Sort of like your the middle of your back. So I suppose like if you were trying to do someone in a similar fashion, you'd still have trouble because it wouldn't be like anywhere close to the same hip motion. Or
so is that replacement to the conventional place for genitals?
Yeah, you've either got that or not. You have like nothing like Action Man, and you can't obviously do anything, and you probably don't have much desire to do anything.
Shit. Well, how would you even do anything with that, like in your mid back? It'd be really awkward.
Yeah, it'd be
just getting it at the right angle.
I've not even really thought it through myself. I've just thought, well, if you put it
mannequining it.
Yeah, I don't think there's
like
much you could do. Yeah, but even if you got
prosthetic in a real place.
Even if you got that, you'd have to sort of link the stimulation up somehow. For it to be worthwhile.
You can get you can link the electrical impulses to the lower area of your spine, which correlates for like orgasms.
Okay, so what you can do that, but the where the actual appendage would be is in a more embarrassing place, like where people could
even
see
worse than mid-back.
Yeah, like on your forehead or something like that. Somewhere where you couldn't cover it up with clothes at all.
So I could have a prosthetic, but it'd be even worse.
Yeah.
Then you've got yourself a mannequin.
I'd probably go for the mannequin thing, but I'd be worried that if like I didn't have any desire to have sex or whatever, then you just wouldn't have any desire to do anything, because that's like the main drive for any living thing really that's sexual anyway. But yeah, having it on your your mid back, you couldn't even start to try and do the same sort of things you would do with it on your front because it's not even at the equal height.
No. Right. So I'll give you another.
Yeah. Well, don't give me another cock and balls on my back. Give me another question.
My question. What's the scenario? You can photosynthesis can occur in your eyes when you look at the sun. So you can get food that way. Obviously it takes a while because photosynthesis is not like very sufficient as opposed to just like eating a meal. So you can, you can like supplement yourself with food that way.
There was a guy on The Morning of Life with Carl Pilkington who claimed that he only ever sat in the sun for sustenance. I'm pretty sure he was talking shit.
I think I saw that. Yeah.
But he did look quite ill.
Unless
he
was green.
So... he must have have been having something else as well.
Yeah. Anyway, so you can do that, but if you look at the sun for too long, you go blind.
Or I can start
also once you've gone fully blind, no, you can eat food as well. Photosynthesis, like obviously that help you whether you just like can't be bothered making food. I'll just go and stand outside and stare at the sun for a bit. But once you've gone fully blind, then all you need to do is make sure your eyes are directed in the sun, and then you can just photosynthesize for as long as you want, because your eyesight is already gone.
No, I don't think eating is that big of a chore that I'd want to force myself to go blind just so I could use the sun. Like I'm like a personal solar panel. Yeah, I don't think I'd go for that. It's a bit of an obvious answer.
It'd be good. It'd be good if you just wanted like short bursts of it, just to like, I've had a meal, but I'm not quite that full, so I'm just gonna stand outside for a bit.
Yeah. Or if it was
obviously
the least fattening way of eating, and like no crap in it, no. It's like organic because it's the sun. It's as organic as you can get.
Just pure like protein and carbs. But yeah, it would be good for like meal replacement.
But it's not even
You'd
like
be blind within a few days.
Not even it's not even like you're saying you can like live eternally but blind doing that. It's just you can eat by looking at the sun basically, but you'll be blind and you won't have a great existence. No offense to blind people, I feel for you, but I really do think it's like one of the number one senses to have.
Yeah.
That and being able to feel the pleasure in your back penis. You'd have so little opportunity to feel anything in your back dong that you'd need it to be overly sensitive.
Oh dear, my back feels suddenly very rock hard.
You'd definitely be buying one of them back scratching devices then.
A back flashlight.
Yeah, it's just a flashlight on a rod, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't go for the being able to
Yeah.
power myself up through. It's too big of a disadvantage.
I mean, I would, as long as like I could use it in the way that I explained, where like if the meal didn't like fill you up enough, that you could just use it then for a short while. Otherwise,
So
it would be a no.
but if you look at it short, as long as you always keep it to short enough time, you don't go blind. So you've just got to be disciplined
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that being good. But I'd still probably just not have the option, so I didn't ever risk it. Just 10 more minutes. Because
Can't look away.
nearly, possibly not with yourself, but nearly everybody overindulges in something once in a while, so that would go a bit far. I've overindulged a little bit there. I've gone blind. That's a bit extreme.
Yeah. Well, masturbation make you go blind as well.
But according to old-timey movies, instructional videos, hairy hands, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from. Palms.
Yeah.
What if you wanted hairy palms? Go
Yeah.
buck wild then.
Yeah, there's probably some people out there who were developing at a late age, pulling it furiously to try and get some hair.
Where
So
could
they
it
could
jackets man
so they could get served in the pub. Look at my hairy palms, motherfucker!
As you can see, I am of age.
Hopefully by just showing them the hairy palms, not by
And they're just like, oh,
putting a load in their face, like they would with Hitler.
Hitler style.
That's what I'm for from now on.
Just exploding on him.
The rest of my questions are just silly questions. The questions themselves, rather than them having any good answers.
Okay.
Do you think pedos should be liquidized?
Fucking hell.
There's a Sean Locke joke where he goes on about capital punishment. He says this, when people are getting bored, just like liquidize a pedo. I don't think there's any debate there.
I think they should be actually treated and not just be like looked at as some sort of abomination. Obviously, like they weren't.
It
It's not
depends
something
on it. If
environmentally
they
that made
haven't
them that way.
acted, they haven't acted on it and they admit it before anything happens, then yeah, definitely.
Well, if something does happen, obviously they need to be punished for it. But it still doesn't mean that they should be like kind of like rehabilitated and changed into other like ways of thinking.
Yeah. But
Because it's too easy just to think pedo, he's a fucking abomination of the world. When he's never thought of like any other, they've like never thought of any other way. That's just how they think.
I definitely
That's how
agree
their
with
brain
you
works.
to a degree, but then again, if we had kids, it's just like, couldn't you take the risk once they're known to have those tendencies or act on those tendencies? Could you risk it? I definitely wouldn't want them to be allowed near kids again, but if they can be helped to live their lives
There was a
safely as
case
possible.
where I don't know if he was a YouTuber or not, but it was somebody fairly well known who was sent indecent pictures of like some fan who was like below age of consent, and he was then like had to be filed as a paedophile from then, and it was like put on his passport, and it's like a permanent record for him now.
No, that's definitely not fair.
He got this consent.
No, that's definitely not fair. Just because somebody's somehow put an image on your computer, or you've looked at something and it's ended up on. And
obviously
computer.
They found it. Yeah, they found it on his like phone or computer or something. So that they might be listed as a paedophile, but they might be like something like that.
Yeah, that's definitely the main reasoning behind not having capital punishment, is if you're found to be innocent afterwards. It's like you've hung them. We can't really like release them afterwards.
Oh, sorry. Talking to like the corpse. We'll just let you down now, and you can go home.
Kaboom! Off you go, back to your wife and kids.
He's just lay there dead in the mud, and some pigs running over and start eating him. Nobody can hurt you now. You're safe.
That'll do, pig.
Peter Griffin like blasting the Native American woman in the face, and he's like, "Put her down. He can't harm you."
Have you got another one for me? Not another pedo.
I've got... Right.
Not another picture of our 11-year-old fans. Don't want to see that.
We have fans?
That's for the fan to decide. Yay!
Okay,
oh, he's tucked up in bed. We're fine.
You have to either announce that you farted or that you've peed your pants every day. So it has to happen once every day in a public place. You have to announce that you farted or that you've pissed yourself.
The instant you said that, I'm going with farted.
Yeah.
Having farted so less embarrassing than having peed your pants.
Yeah. Even if you haven't pissed yourself, you just got to announce it.
Yeah. I'm one to usually admit if I'd farted and someone said, "Have you farted?" I'd just say yeah. Because otherwise, when you've not, and it's like the worst one ever that someone's done, it's like no one will believe you. So.
Yeah. So it's not far from reality anyway.
I suppose with pissing yourself, the worst thing about it is the embarrassment. I know it's not particularly pleasant, but if you did that like in work or something, you just like never feel like you could ever go back again. You just feel like, I don't want to be known as Senor Pissy Pants every fucking day of my life now. Whereas if you'd farted...
What a nickname.
Senor Pissy Pants.
Mr. Pee-pee.
Whereas some people, if you own being proud of a fart, usually that sort of negates any embarrassment.
I would have been fucking proud of that, at least. Every day I'd be like, yeah, that's right.
As long as it's not one where it's just like no cheek action, it's just completely just air, then it's like, oh, weak sauce, man. You got
I'd have to go for the fart as well.
Yeah. You'd have to put some sort of benefit on the peeing, or there's more of a negative on the farting.
Yeah. Well, it could have been, pronounce you pissed yourself or you shat your pants.
Yeah. I think
that would probably be a little more difficult.
Yeah, actually, because it's both. I think pissing yourself might actually be slightly more embarrassing, whereas shitting yourself would be probably more uncomfortable to sort of like
Yeah.
sit in and.
I've shit my pants.
But some people proudly recall stories of shitting themselves, whereas pissing yourself doesn't tend to be. It tends to just be a embarrassing thing.
It's just like
both should really be embarrassing, but
yeah, but one of them is like funnier to recall than the other. The other one's just like a shame. Right. My next one. Either you gotta start a sentence, every sentence you say, somebody starts with, "Hey asshole," or every sentence that you say ends with, just kidding.
I think it'd have to be the second one. You'd have to.
Yeah.
You'd have to learn how to always like say the opposite. If you weren't kidding, you'd have to always be. But starting a sentence with "Hey,"
just kidding. No, seriously.
Starting every sentence with "Hey asshole" could get you in some big trouble quicker than the other one would. I think. No matter what you said, if you started your sentences off with the same thing all the time, eventually you would become a very social weirdo. Even if it was just like, actually, you just get known as like the actually guy who said, actually.
Yeah.
Nobody would actually listen. Well, I just said actually. Nobody would listen to what you were saying. They'd just instantly grab onto that.
Yeah.
Although I suppose it would be quite liberating.
It would be hard to have.
Just call everybody.
It would be hard to have like serious. Yeah.
Every time you spoke.
It would be hard to have serious conversations with people because you'd always end with, just kidding.
But it'd be either one of them. It'd be hard because either they're gonna be really offended, or they're gonna think you're joking with "Hey asshole" as well.
Yeah.
We're good.
Plus, they'd be like, "You're English, man. Why you think asshole?" Although I do think in this podcast we say ass more than arse. We're catering to the American audience. Ass.
All American ass.
Oh yeah.
You got any more?
I don't have any more actually prepared.
I've got one left.
Be some other random shit if I can think of it at the end, but.
Speaking of shit.
Oh, we've got our obligatory shit
related
segment that we have every episode. Maybe maybe the first episode didn't have it, but every other one has.
Either every morning you wake up with diarrhea every day for a year, or you wake up constipated every day for a year. You gotta pick one.
How long does the constipation last for?
A year.
Oh, I know that, but I mean, like, you're constipated all day after you've woke up with it, or is it an hour, or?
No, all day.
Is the diarrhea all day?
The diarrhea is like within the first few hours of your morning. Just like your body empties.
Can I obviously it'd be embarrassing, but can I tell my work that I have this condition and that I need to sit on the toilet for like 2 hours every morning before I go in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's gonna be
With
the
this scenario is
diarrhea.
more just the diarrhea itself rather than like,
rather than it fitting into your routine and the shame.
Yeah.
I'd go with the diarrhea, I think, rather than the whole day of feeling constipated.
But you wouldn't have to worry about shitting for a year.
Yeah, it's not like you'd have to go and try because you just know
that
it
you're just like
isn't gonna happen.
But
I think it's the length of time mainly. If it was possibly if it was between the two and they were the same length of time, I'd go with the constipation. But I'm going with because it's like you can at least get on with your day then once you've had a big mudslide. Well, a very long lasting mudslide.
Have you ever been constipated in real life?
Yeah, definitely. But I've had it where it's been like about a day long or something like that. Yeah. No, quite a long time ago, I think.
I've only ever had it once, but that one experience I think was enough for me. I was definitely picked
fiber is now my thing of choice.
It's just a horrible feeling, like knowing you need to crap but you can't.
Yeah, it's the not having something that you know what the solution is, but not being able to control it.
Like, I'd take the stomach cramps and expelling brown water all day, every day compared to that.
Yeah. Well, there's that Seinfeld episode, isn't there, where he's held in a turd when he can't go.
And
he misses his opportunity, and then it's funny like that. You don't realise the first couple of times you've ever done that in your life. You don't realise that not going when you need to go that badly can do that to you. It's like, now I don't get to go for a couple of days now.
It causes like horrible bloating as well. It's just an all-around bad time.
Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm point out so many little everyday little things that that are so true.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't normally see in a TV program.
Yeah.
You couldn't picture that on like I'm trying to think of a show like Game of Thrones or something where they're just like, we didn't go for a turd today. The battle is off. We all missed our opportunity.
Pretty much call the stream there. There's nothing else is coming to mind by the sounds of it.
No, I was just trying to think of really bad situations where like you'd have to start your sentence off with, "Hey asshole." It's like, "Hey asshole, my mother's really ill in the hospital. I need the rest of the day off." It's like, no.
What about whenever you become really good friends with somebody new, it comes to a day where, like, once you're like close enough with them, you just randomly end the conversation with, "Oh, by the way, I just banged your mom last night. Okay, see ya, bye."
Well, I do that anyway, so it's not really. That's my thing, man.
I'm a mother lover, you're a mother lover, we should fuck each other's mothers, fuck each other's moms.
As long as it's consensual.
It would be my honor to be your new stepfather.
that'd main. It's weird that the first thing I thought was that'd mainly be wrong because you're younger than me, but that's not the main reason why that should be wrong. There's so many reasons why that's wrong, and yeah, my first thing was like, I wouldn't listen to you as a authority figure. You're younger than me. Mommy?
Like, banging my mom. Banging my mom, that's fine, but there ain't no way the hell I'm listening to you.
Well, if I was going to say I love you like a brother, so you're welcome to anything you want, but that makes it all the more wrong, all the more incestuous. That's one thing that is sort of not a weird question. It's more of a weird, serious point, I guess. I don't get the whole. One of the main things in porn at the moment seems to be like incest-based stuff.
Oh
like
yeah.
Where the scenario, it's like I don't get how it's that
know.
popular. That
It's just weird. Stick. Why would you want that?
And the stupidly, like most selfishly, the main thing that annoys me about it is if you watch like one thing, like that she's hot, I'll watch that. It's like recommending you all of this horrible, depraved stuff for the rest of your life. You're like, for fuck's sake, I watched one thing to see how good it was. Now, leave me
just
alone.
Like the girl, I didn't do it for the story.
I just can't believe how common it is on the sites and stuff like that, as if it's like a.
I don't understand how it's gotten so popular. It's just wrong.
Does it just go off the views and like people are viewing it just because the people are hot and then they think that it's popular because of the scenario? No one gives a shit about the scenario. As long as it's not like what Bill Hicks was saying about like hotel porn, where they cut out all the sex scenes apart from the hairy man ass and balls going bow chicka pow. Yes, that's exactly what I bought that movie to see.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, hairy man ass is a good place to leave it, I think. Hey asshole, you have a hairy man ass. Just kidding.
Progressive Overload, episode 4, is it? Hairy man ass.
5, 4, 5. Hairy man ass. We don't even know. Yeah. We missed a week because it's good that we missed a week actually, because you went to the Body Power Expo, so always got the power of editing. So by about episode 10, episode 10 or something, we should have it down. So nobody bother watching the next few episodes and just join us when we get to episode 10.
When we suddenly become funny and entertaining.
Or we get a guest that is. That's what we need.
Yeah.
A guest that
Something
completes
that we can cling on to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that
just
was
shot him in his cankles and it killed him.
Kill them cankles.
Oh yeah.
So until next time.
Oh yeah. See you later. See you later to all the hairy man asses out there.
Bye-bye.